Yo, good morning, happy people. To be honest, I wanted to finish my fag before I started this, but kind of just fucked that up a little bit, innit? So we'll start this again. Or will my little clicker whack? What does my clicker do? Oh, that turns my volume up. Alright, cool. Let me just pop a little share on there. Ah, that disappeared. So how do we do that? That was quite cool. So plus, choose your live mode. It said share and that disappeared. I don't really know how to Facebook Live, but I just thought I'd chip in my 2 pence about this whole mask malarkey, as I keep seeing everything. Being fired at the government. Don't you feel we as people depend on the government too much? Like, we all say we hate it, and we all say we hate, like, you know, we don't like the government, whoever's in charge. There are 46% of people who aren't happy that those fucking cunts are in charge. So people always turn around and they're like, well, I fucking hate the government fucking sucks, the government this, the government that. But then when we look at expectations we have of the government, that's also mental. We expect them to feed us, provide for us money, provide for us housing, provide for us healthcare, provide our children education, provide our young adults education. But then they get a little thing wrong and we're on them like shit. Like this whole fucking COVID-19 mask thing, like, you got 31 million infections worldwide with 21 million people who have survived that infection. 960,000 people have died, which isn't a great deal in the scheme of deaths. Now, I know this makes me seem cold, but people die. Like, it's a fact of life, and people are like, well, early deaths. Well, nobody wants to die. No, sorry. Very few people actually want to die. So when it comes to the actual crux of it, every death's a bit too early, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Everyone's taken before their time, or you know what I mean? Not few people lay on their deathbed and go, yep, that's me, I'm done, I'm ready, I'm finished with this shit. So what I've seen a lot of is comparing COVID to cancer. Obviously, hospital wards have been rushed for COVID, meaning that people haven't been able to get cancer treatment and, you know, have died, which ultimately is sad. But let's take away the fact that we could cure cancer, because we can't cure it, but let's take away the fact that we can help people with the illness itself. We can ease the pain. We can try to make them better. There are times where it can be cured to an extent. We can't do that with COVID at the moment. There is no cure. There is no little vaccine. There is no little help for people. There is only suffering, straight out. Nothing else. Just suffering for these people. So it's tough. But ultimately, the answer to the question is, how can the government do this? Why can the government do this? This is modern day, whatever you want to fucking call it. The answer to that is, if we all had private healthcare, we'd all get equal treatment. That is exactly the way it goes. We cannot have a national health service like we have and expect it to be the pinnacle of everything, to cure everybody all the time, always. We can't. That's too much pressure for our nurses, for our doctors, for the people coming up with new ingenuitive ideas. It's too much for them. Like, we cannot expect that from a national health service. So all we have to do, good morning Laura, I hope you're well on this grey day. What changed to the last couple of days. So I find it difficult to think that we can have a national health service and also push all of this pressure onto it. Now, if we had a private health service, if everything was, not everything, but let's just say 85% of the healthcare in the country, in the UK as a whole, was privatised, we would all have a right to moan, because we'd all actually be paying for the service. You know, kind of like buying an iPad from Amazon or from PC World. You expect it to come in its cellophane. If you pay for private healthcare, you expect it to come in its cellophane. You expect it to be pristine in new condition. You expect it to be the best. But having a national health service where we all contribute to the pot, some people don't contribute to the pot and still use that national health service. In fairness, some people can't contribute to that pot and still use the service. So it's a tough one, because this seems like it's coming back. I was a bit of a skeptic recently, up until recently, but I can't argue with 4,000 new cases a day. Now, there are plenty of logical arguments as to why there are 4,000 new cases a day. We're testing more. It's a logical argument. I think people laughed at Trump when he said it. It's probably because of the way he said it, but you know what I mean? If imagine you've got 50 people and you're guessing some of them are ill. You know, some of them are coughing, or 2 of them are coughing, but you're trying to guess the exact illness they've got. You know what I mean? Then all of a sudden you come up with 50 tests for these people and you're no longer guessing, and you find out 7 of them have got it. Obviously there are then more cases. That cases spike, that rises the increase. It's not necessarily rising the increase of deaths at the moment by a great spike, I don't think. I think the cases are spiking almost at 2/3 to what the deaths are. That would equate in the numbers: 31 million infected, 21 million survived. It would equate to somewhere, it's probably more than that. I'd say it's somewhere like 5 to 1. You know, people are surviving. But I don't think we can expect it all. I kind of think we have to do, I don't think the government are a draconian, something I've seen posted around, ancient dictatorship. I don't think it is that. Because in 4 years' time, or 7 years' time, 4 years' time, 7 years' time, sorry, we're going to vote them out. 6 years' time, we're going to vote them out again. Or we'll vote for another lot. It's not that draconian. It's not that prehistoric. It's not that controversial. It's a democratic government that's been put into power, and they're dealing with a situation in the same way that any government with a population over 150 million has dealt with it, rather poorly. You know, it's unprecedented waters. It's something that nobody's ever come across when we have this amount of people and this amount of connectivity as a planet. Let's face it, you know what I mean? There are people holidaying around the world at the minute, and supposedly there's a pandemic going on, which gives out mixed signs, doesn't it? Let's think about that logically. There has to be mixed signs to that, because you can go travelling around the world, but you've got to wear a mask just in case you don't kill somebody. Well, it's got to be one or the other. I can't go travelling around the world if everybody's got to wear a mask. Surely, yeah? You know what I mean? So it is tough. It is awkward. It's hard because people love freedoms. People love not to be told what to do. But then also, from that same entity, we hate being told what to do. We have such high expectations that it's unbelievable. It's crazy. So, yeah, I just thought I'd do this just so I had a YouTube video. This part's not going to go on. I'll edit this bit out. Don't smoke, it's bad for you. I know, you're a fucking hypocrite, but it's the best advice I can give while I'm doing that. Right, let's go across the road because I don't want to die. See? Don't want to die. So yeah, this it looks like, I didn't believe we were going for second lockdown. I'd heard Boris say that he was not going to put us in a second lockdown, but I guess needs must, and if necessity wins, then I guess a second lockdown is on the cards, people. Didn't really affect me like that. In fact, I was more productive during the lockdown than I was on the daily, because I'm busy on the daily and I'm tired when I get home. But obviously I was doing nothing, so I had plenty of time to record, edit and do stuff. But since I've gone back at work, none of that has happened. None of that's gone on.